Good evening. Happy Monday. I'm Adrienne, and I am your host every week for Power Talk, where I bring you empowering information from subject matter experts from all over the world to help you increase your ability to have joy and success in your life. So what would it be like if you knew how to play in the sandbox with others? You know, we come into this world and that's the first thing we start getting taught is that we need to make nice with other people and play well in groups. But nobody really ever tells us how to do that. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight. My guest tonight is the amazing Hilarie Cox. She is a maven in the corporate world. She is a technical genius, but also she is a certified human design BG5 specialist. She's an angel minister. She is a counselor, life coach, and well, she wears a lot of hats. So welcome, Hilarie.
Thank you, Jean. I appreciate all your kind words.
Well, they're all very honest and true. And, you know, those people who have been following my show for a long time now know that I am absolutely fascinated by human design, the human design system. And you are now a certified human design BG5 specialist because this is like a new tool, right?
Yeah, so I'm still working on the complete certification, but I have the first piece, and I'm just excited to share it with everybody. So I just became certified in the career overview portion of BG5, and it's just so exciting about, you know, how you share your design with people, and it's just amazing the feedback that I'm getting, even in the corporate world, about how this information is so important, and I'm excited about being able to share this with others now as I'm continuing my learning and growth process, and yet getting this out into the world.
So what exactly is BG5?
So BG5 stands for Base Group 5. And it's a tool that you can use to understand how you work in this world, not only for yourself, how you're operating, but how you're working with others. And, you know, it really opens the door for communication that's more clear, because communication is primarily nonverbal. And because we're not aware of the static that we're putting out, you know, it's shaping the way we're reacting in the world. And that's why we're focusing now on the BG5 in the career work. And I feel like it's important, not only around, you know, how we're working in business, but most of what we do is work, you know, from how we take care of our children to, you know, children in school and all the different areas, just like you were saying, the play box. You know, you've got this sandbox of people that you're playing with all day long. Maybe we shouldn't call it work. Maybe we should call it play, and just shift these areas of awareness in our lives.
Yeah, because, you know, I was in the corporate world myself for 30 years until I really found my passion and got out and started doing the InnerSpeak stuff. And some of the relationships and some of the jobs that I had were smoother than others. And I've got a sneaky feeling that if I had actually understood about my human design template back in those days, I certainly would have I would have been a lot less frustrated, and I certainly would have communicated differently and, you know, and approached everything differently. You know, but I didn't have that tool, and now it's there. And there's something about, in this base group 5, there's something about your communicating in groups of 5 people, right? What is that all about?
That's correct. So there's an aspect of, you know, there are 4 different types of career definitions, 4 different types that we're a part of. Mm-hmm. So there is the builder, which makes up about 70% of the population, and then you have innovators. Well, let me step back and say what a builder is.
Yeah, because I think that's what I am, right?
Yes, you are a builder, and builders are here to get things moving and to keep the process going. Innovators, they make up about 8% of the world, and they are here to get things started. They're supposed to, begin the innovation. And then you have your advisors. They look at, and give advice on how things need to be completed. They're here to manage things. And then you also have the evaluators. And evaluators are here to, which only makes up about 1% of the world, they are here to say what's working, what's not working. And then we follow the direction from there. But as builders, there is a portion of each human design chart that indicates how you work well in groups of 3 to 5, and that's where that comes in, is around builders primarily. Others can be a part of that. However, primarily it's builders, and making sure that they cover all the different aspects of a business, such as public relations, accounting, vision, and so much more, but that you have all those strengths populated when you're forming groups in your teams, so that you can work well together and create a profit for yourself.
Wow, so I can see where this kind of a tool would be very advantageous to managers in companies to be able to put together people who support each other and not who butt heads with each other.
Absolutely. I'm finding it extremely helpful with my team at IBM, and I've introduced it to a few folks, and they're like, wow, I wish I would have had this information sooner. And it helps me to understand and have patience with my employees.
So you told us about the different types or roles. So for example, if I'm a builder, what is my decision-making strategy?
So your decision-making strategy as a builder is to listen to your gut. And
no different than it is in my human design strategy, right?
Right. It will be the same. And depending on how you're defined, there may be some nuances to that, such as if you're emotionally defined, which you are.
Yeah, that would be me.
And me as well. And you are here to really ride out that wave of emotions before you make big decisions in your life. You're actually supposed to sleep on it before you make decisions. If there's something
that is so hard for me to do.
It is challenging. I have the same challenging situation. And one of the things that I've been doing to make sure that I'm beginning to listen to my gut, because you know what I'm going to say, we've all been working from our minds for so long, it's entrained in how we do things, that you see this, you experience that you're making decisions so much from your mind, and to avoid that, listening to my gut, I've begun a daily practice to help me to listen to my gut every day, when I'm doing things at a focused time, so that when that situation comes up and I'm needing or required to make a big decision, that I can recognize my gut and how it's reacting. So it's really important to begin to practice listening, but it does take a lot of patience.
Well, and I think that more by luck than judgment during my time in the corporate world, I did follow my gut. I didn't realize that that's what I was doing, but I would just get this knowing in my gut, and I would follow those gut instincts, if you will, and it served me pretty well. I got to the point with my boss. I worked for the same man for the last 4 companies before I decided to retire. And he and I had sort of a deal going on. I told him that I would give him his sales forecast every Monday. I said, however, don't hold me to it, because I'm always going to make my numbers. I promise you that. But it's probably not going to play out like it looks on that piece of paper. And so I was able to satisfy him because I would give him my sales forecast. And then I went, and followed my gut, and went and did the right things with the right customers. And I always made my numbers. With very, very few exceptions. So I guess I probably was following that strategy, but not because I planned to.
Yeah, Yes, I think that we naturally do this anyway, is if we're supposed to follow our guts. I think most of the time we are actually following our guts. We just may not be aware of it.
Yeah. And I actually, I guess it was 2 weeks ago now, I had a situation that came up that absolutely just destroyed my day because I didn't ride that emotional wave out. And it started for something just as simple as I had this idea that I should go through Starbucks and get myself a mocha on the way to my hair appointment. And I didn't listen to my gut. I didn't tune in, and I didn't ride the emotional wave on it. If I had, I would have realized that probably is not a smart thing to do, because a mocha is really not very healthy for you if you're trying to, heal your body and shed extra pounds and all that kind of stuff, because there's sugar in it and there's chocolate in it, there's milk in it and whatever. I did it. And I got in the line from hell at Starbucks. And I was late to my hair appointment, but after a great deal of frustration, getting through that line, I'm sitting there gripping the wheel for grim death and yelling at people and, that kind of thing, which is what you're saying, that's telling me that I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And if that wasn't enough, I did the same exact thing again later in the day. So it really just derailed my whole day. It started me on a downhill slide that was just, frustration in all bold, big font letters.
Well, and that's an important thing to listen to yourself. When you are experiencing frustration, that is one of your key indicators that you're not actually following your decision-making process. And it varies by different types of career designs. If you're, as a builder, you're going to experience success if you're following your key indicators. And if you're not, your signpost is frustration. So frustration is a big red flag for you. Now, for other designs, you might experience peace, success, surprise. But then when you flip it over, it's bitterness, disappointment, anger. Any of these emotions begin to pop up as you're talking about, that you didn't really follow that decision-making strategy. And when you're out of alignment with your strategy, you're going to experience that in all aspects of your life.
So how many people who are watching this show right now have experienced those things that would have led them to believe that they really weren't following their strategy and they weren't on their right path? So, Hilarie, for the people who are watching the show and people who are watching it later, what do you base all this information on? How do you figure out what a person is?
So, interestingly enough, earlier today I had a conversation with an employee that said, he's gone through the BG5 with me, and, all he had to do was give me his birth date, time, and place of birth, and I was able to generate a chart for him and have this career overview with him. And he had gone through this weekend the Enneagram personality test, and he said, I had to fill out a lot of questions, even though most of it was in alignment. I said the key distinction between what BG5 does and other personality tests is that there's not a lot of subjective, in that moment questions. It's truly how you're designed. Mm-hmm. It's just based on when you were born.
It goes right straight down to your DNA, right?
Right, exactly.
Yeah. So once you get that information, then what are you able then to deliver to somebody to show them what this all means?
So in the overview, basically, we talk about the various traits of your designs. How you personally interact with others, your decision-making strategy, what your key indicators are for when you're not following your strategy, how you process information through how you assimilate things in life, what is the best type of work setting for you. And so it takes about 90 minutes to go over all of that to understand, really what's going on with you.
So as a builder, how do I assimilate information?
So for you, based on your design, you are, I have to look at your design real quick again, your assimilation process. So you are best as a collaborator. So you're here to collaborate with others. Otherwise, you might feel like something is missing and blame yourself and try to overcompensate. Have you experienced that when you're trying to work by yourself?
Yeah, I usually am my own harshest judge, and yeah.
Yeah. Well, and the reason for that is because there's a split in your chart that needs to be completed, and when that's completed, you begin to experience a real ease and flow. I have a similar, I synthesize information. I have 3 splits in my chart. And so some days I cannot finish things at home. I work from home primarily. Sometimes I can't finish them until my husband gets home and he completes my chart just being in my energy field. So that's a big portion of it is how do we work with others? Going to the coffee shop actually may be something if you're trying to meet a deadline or learn something new. It may be a good place because you're in energy of other people that someone will have that completion in your chart without even knowing it.
And I don't even have to really talk to them, right? I just have to be in their energy?
Absolutely.
That just gives me a great excuse to spend more time at Starbucks, doesn't it?
Have a little more sugar.
You're right. Oh, goodness gracious. So, if there are people out there who are watching us tonight and this is piquing their curiosity, how can they get in touch with you, Hilarie, to find out more about this process?
So I have a website, and it is magicpowerinyou.com, and you can sign up for the newsletter, and I will provide you with your career type definition so that you understand what that is as a complimentary gift.
Wow, that's very cool. So can you talk a little bit more? We've talked a lot about builders because, well, that's you and me, but what are some of the more, I want to go back to that one it was the last one you talked about. I forget what they were.
Evaluators?
Yeah. So what's a good example of somebody that we might have heard of that would be a good example of an evaluator?
I can't think of a famous person, but I can think of a friend of ours. Am I allowed to say who that is?
Well, let's just pick up a name. Make up a name.
So an evaluator, the interesting thing about evaluators is they are highly undefined. And when you look at your chart or my chart, what you would experience is there are fields in our charts that are defined, which means we have a fixed way of operating. An evaluator absolutely has no fixed centers. So they're highly programmed from everyone else, and they actually have to wait out, their decision-making process is to wait out a moon cycle in order to complete their decision-making process. And
wow, like a whole month.
Yeah, a whole month to make a major decision. So it's really, I can't imagine how challenging that is. I am an express builder, and Jean, you're a classic builder. So I do things very quickly based on being an express builder, and the classic builder does things a little bit slower. However, I just cannot imagine having to wait 30 days to complete something, or 28. I guess it's really 28 days.
Well, and then, if you think about it, you said that that's 70% of the population. So the majority of the people who are watching our show tonight are going to be builders, right? Absolutely. So it's a good possibility that this is ringing true for many of you out there. How else can this help us? Because we've been talking about business a lot, but how else can this help us in just interactions with our families and our kids and relationships, boyfriends, husbands, wives? How does really kind of drill down into more personal relationships?
So in personal relationships, really, for me, knowing when I am following my decision-making strategy, I'm actually in the flow of life. there's probably a lot less frustration between my husband and I, or my daughter and I, as we're following our design, versus having that static, whether I'm, most of my day is spent at work, and to actually have them come home or be in my energy, where I've been experiencing frustration and a lot of dissatisfaction, has to create a lot of static within our family environment. So I feel as though this benefits us by clearing that energy up so that we can be more present with our families.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, so there's a lot of benefit, not only in the corporate world, but for those of you who might not be in the corporate world or might be an entrepreneur, there's benefit for you as well. So on a different note, Hilarie, you and I are getting ready to collaborate, and I wanted to share a bit about that with the viewers, because I'm going to be in Charlotte, which is where you are. And would you like to talk about our little adventure that we're getting ready to do with Shift Charlotte?
Oh, absolutely. So Shift Charlotte is an event here that's been going on for 10 years, which is unbelievable that it's been 10 years that this event has been going on. But they gather folks around the Charlotte area that do metaphysical and wellness type activities. So there's psychic readings, there's healers, there's a bunch of different types of wellness type practitioners that come to this event, and we're excited about being able to participate this year at Shift Charlotte.
So what's the date on that?
It is March 23rd, and I believe 9 to 5:30. And
we have a Facebook page that people can look at, and a website, which is actually your website that you're sharing with us.
Yes, and an Instagram page.
Wow, I don't even know how to use Instagram.
It's kind of fun. So yeah, it's all under Magic Power in You, and I'm excited that Jean and I are collaborating. I actually started with just Jean and I deciding that we were going to collaborate together, and then other people decided to jump in and join in on the fun. So we're excited that Nicole Henderson and Tirsa Wilder are joining us as well.
And you built a group of 5 because we have Kathleen Lamb, who's going to kind of like be our operations manager, right?
That's right. And when we look at the Penta in this particular thing, there was only one piece that was missing out of between the 5 of us. So we'll intend that piece is just filled by spirit.
Oh, okay. Well, cool. I was hoping we had it all covered.
I was hoping so too, but it didn't work out quite that way. We're close.
Yeah, very good. So, you do so much other work as well. You're a certified angel minister, right?
Yes, I am. I became a certified angel minister probably about 10 years ago as well. And actually, I think I met you right before I started the angel ministry program and became an inner speak practitioner as well.
Yeah, she teaches my work. And
yes,
and she does it very well.
Love it. Dealing with DNA and just knowing how to connect with people and figure out what will benefit them is truly my passion.
Yeah, you're also a gifted artist. Do you, by any chance, have any of your discs laying around so that you could share?
I do. Hold on.
Okay.
So this is, let's see if we can get it.
There you go. That's got it. Yeah.
That's the flower of life. And it is, what I'm learning about these is that I infuse sacred energy into these discs, and that this is part of my purpose in life is to build things like this. And I enjoy making them. They're a lot of fun to make.
Yeah, you've got the Flower of Life. You've got Metatron's Cube. What are some of the other ones that you have?
So there's the Sri Rantra. I have Ganesh, Buddha, a Unalome.
Okay, I don't even know what that is.
You have to go see it on the website. Okay. They're all pictured on the website at this point.
Okay, cool.
But the unilome is about enlightenment. It basically is how energy comes down in through our crowns, and then kind of wraps around, goes through all of our challenges, comes back up as we clear things to receive that enlightenment.
Cool. And so these are available on your website. There also will be available at Shift Charlotte if you happen to be in the North Carolina area and you want to come join us. So this has been fun, Hilarie. So thank you so much for sharing about this amazing technology, this BG5 tool, because I think that people will find it very helpful. I know it's life-changing for me, having that information and trying to be present enough to always remember to use it. I mean, that's a challenge, but you know, I do the best I can. Yeah. So check her out, folks. The magicpowerinU.com and on Facebook, Magic Power in You. And next week, my guest is going to be Joe McQuillian. Joe had a tragedy where his son died suddenly, and he was bereft. And he started trying to find ways, because he knew that there had to be something after death, and he wanted to communicate with his son, and he started trying to find ways to do that. And he's written a book about that journey, and it's pretty fascinating. So I think you'll enjoy hearing what he found on his search to connect with his son after his son was tragically left the plane early. So join us next week. And until next week, remember, people who take responsibility for their lives create the reality they desire. Love you all. Ciao.